my goddamn laptop lost it, which upsets me greatly because I think I actually said some pretty good stuff. But you know what? Second time's the charm. I certainly hope, because it's kind of late and I'm a little tired and I actually have to take a piss really bad, but I want to get this done because one thing you'll learn about me is I never shut the hell up. So I released a video talking slightly about my nutrition, and I figured I'd delve into it a little bit and my reasoning behind my nutrition, and I'll dive a little bit more into supplementation and what kind of supplementation I do. So I'll start by saying I am Will from Will Development. What's up? How you doing, YouTube? I may have already said that already. I'm tired. So cut me a little slack, or don't tear me up. I don't give a shit. So anyway, I talked about how I eat about 6,000 calories, 5,000 calories I eat. I get about 6,000 before 5 o'clock. I get about 250 to 270 grams of protein per day into my body. What I actually process is probably somewhere around 230 to 200. I always like to estimate on the lower end, and that's what I do. I estimate everything. My carbohydrate intake, I estimate. My caloric intake, I estimate. And I know a roundabout range, because the point at which I'm at right now in my career is not one where I need to worry about minute details. And you'll know, I always say salt, and that sounds silly to attack salt. And I know in the media they attack salt all the time. It's the worst fucking thing for you, that sort of thing. But the only reason I use salt is because that's an example every single person knows. If I say branched chain amino acid, I'm going to have to explain what branched chain amino acids are, and then I'm going to have to explain what amino acids are. And that's a video for another time when I can actually remember what the 3 branched chain amino acids are. So I'll just talk about salt, because that's easy. I don't monitor my salt intake. I know it's relatively low, and that's my sodium intake, obviously, which is an electrolyte. Which electrolytes are important, but I know if I'm low on electrolytes because I'll feel sluggish and I'll literally feel like my brain can't talk to my body. And that's what electrolytes help your body do, talk to your body through your brain. It helps, it's literally allows electrical currents through your body. I digress. I jumped a little bit in the last video about supplementation and what I take for supplements, and I believe I may have talked about the mass gainer that I take. If I didn't, I take a mass gainer. And I take beef protein right now. I recommend cycling through proteins. You know, take beef one day, well, not one day, you know, take beef for a period of time. Take whey for a period of time. And I believe they even have soy, you know, egg. There's all types of proteins, you know. Switch between all of them. Have a good time, you know. Figure out which one works best for you for what you're doing. I know when I take whey protein, I feel bloated. With a lot of them, especially the mass gainers, and my body actually takes a while to digest it, and for some reason with the beef protein it digests it relatively quickly. Now I wanted to jump into one thing when in terms of mass gainers. The mass gainer I take is sold in about a 5-gallon tub, and I believe it's not 5 gallons, I'm sorry, 5 pounds, 5-pound tub. 5 gallons would be a lot. That'd be like 10-15 pounds. 5-pound tub. And the serving size is 4 scoops per, I think it's like 15 milliliters, something like that, 15 ounces of water, something like that. I know those are 2 separate things, but like 15 ounces of water. So if you actually make their shake the way they want you to, it's fucking thick, period. It is thick. I ain't about that. Number one, because all I got is literally a little shaker at work that I carry around when I need my shaker. But the other thing I want to jump into in terms of that is how I take it, and I think I may have mentioned it, but if I didn't, I'm mentioning it now. I break that 4 scoop serving size into 1 serving throughout the day. So I'm doing a few things when I do that. Number one, I'm extending the life of that protein jar, because could you imagine if I took 2 servings of this a day, 4 scoops, they sell at 15 servings per container. That's a half a month, obviously. That's not a lot for $60. The particular one I buy is about $45 when it's on sale. And that's usually when I buy one, get one free, buy one, get one half off, that sort of deal, because I'm stingy. I can deal with it. So I extend it about 4 times because I only take 1 serving per day, and I'm taking it over the course of the day. So what I'll do is when I get to work, the first thing I'll do is I'll take one protein shake, one of my protein shakes, which is a quarter of the serving size. And my body knows that that's the first thing it's going to get every morning. Consistency is key. 8 o'clock, I get to work. That's when I'm supposed to be clocked in. I'm usually clocked in around 7:55, 7:50, depending on how early I felt like getting there that day, to be honest. I'll be straight up. But I'm never late, ever. I think I was late once in like 2 years that I've had this current job. Yeah, one time. And it was 5 minutes. I digress. So I take one at 8. I eat at 9. I had my first serving, which I believe I mentioned the vegetables and all that good stuff the last video. So I had my first serving of real food at 9. 10, I take another serving, my serving, another scoop of that protein. And then at 11, it would make sense for me to eat again, but what ends up happening is I feel too full between the 2 protein shakes and the meal I had. So I actually wait till noon to eat again, but again, it's every 2 to 2.5 hours I need to eat. That's my consistency. So waiting till noon doesn't change me, doesn't make me go from anabolic state to catabolic state. I'm still fine. I'm not dying, you know, and I usually have to take a shit by then, to be honest. Straight up. You eat that much, everybody poops. So by noon, I've had about 3,000 calories, somewhere in that range. At noon, I should say, because once I eat that second meal, that's another, give or take, 400, 500 calories, give or take, when I eat that other meal, something along those lines. And then I carry on again. At 2 o'clock, I take another shake. So I give myself from noon till 2 to digest. 2, I take another shake. No, I apologize. At 1, I take a shake. 2, I eat again. 3, I take a shake. 4, I eat again. Now, I work out somewhere around 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So what I like to do is to not have any meals between 4 to 6. And then at about 5:30, usually, sometimes 6, I'll have another style of protein shake, which I don't want to jump into that one because that's negligible. It only has like 100 calories. I know, right? Negligible, 100 calories. But it only has about 100 calories, about 24 grams of protein. I take it as a pre-workout. It's not designed as a pre-workout. It's just protein for my body to synthesize while I'm working out. Odds are I piss away about 10 grams of it, so I'm only getting about 14 of it in my actual body, which I'm fine with, because I've had supplementation as well as real food all the way throughout the day, you know, that sort of thing. So it's not that big of a deal that I piss away or do not absorb all that is in that serving size. And I also take another one of those styles of shakes, once again it's beef protein, after I work out. So I don't actually eat before I work out because I like to feel digested, and to this day, so far for me, I am not holy shit hungry by 6 o'clock. I'm really not, especially once I take another one of those shakes. I shit again, I pee again, then I hit the gym around 6:30, usually 7, depending on what day it is and how motivated I'm feeling, to be honest. So that happens like that, and then I take my shake about 15 minutes, another one of those shakes after. Whey protein would be the best for most people after this, because whey protein is very quick digesting protein, whereas beef is not. But I'm fine with what I'm doing in terms of how I feel what I'm doing. And that's one of the most important things I think the newcomer needs to understand, is that if it feels good to you and it's along the guidelines that fitness industry and fitness in general put in place, then you're good. I would never advocate for somebody thinks they're going to make great gains and they're only going to eat 1,000 calories a day. You're not going to make giant muscle mass doing that, unless you're fat as shit and you work out like a monster. So I mean, you know, there's no set in stone, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but yeah, I think I mentioned it in the last video. The guy, the newcomers, they get trapped in a lot of this kind of stuff. But you know what the bottom line is, and I'm going to finish this video by saying this: Consistency is key, period. If you are not being consistent with your workouts, consistent with your nutrition, consistent with your supplementation, you cannot expect them to work as, number one, the things were made to be used. I'm talking specifically about supplements. If you're not being consistent with it, you can't expect to bitch if it doesn't work for you. And I know what you're thinking, well, you don't take it how it's supposed to work. I know, I take it how it works for me and how I think it should work for me. So deal with it. You need to be consistent. That's all there is to it. Don't get caught up in details. 2% to the left, 2% to the right. Yeah, you might get knee damage. You might. I don't know. I am not a running specialist. I understand physiology. Don't get me wrong, and I understand the hinge joint of the knee and how you really shouldn't bend it this way or that way to a certain degree. But the bottom line is, you don't need to be concerned with that if you're not fucking running. If you're sitting here worrying so goddamn much about, is my toe pointed in, is my toe pointed out, but you're not actually doing anything, then what's the point? So if you're not working out consistently, that doesn't mean every day, that just means consistently. And if you're not eating consistently, that doesn't mean every 2.5 to 3 hours, that just means consistently, then you cannot expect to get the results that you want. And I'm going to set that in stone, pretty much. And I'm young still, but I know as I get older, it will change. My consistency will have to change. My caloric intake will have to change. How I eat and what I eat will have to change. I'll probably have to move to fish eventually, because it's even lower fat than chicken and higher protein. That sort of game. I don't want to rant on anything else. Questions, comments, concerns, or worries, leave me a comment. Hit that like button, subscribe. Again, you will get weekly videos from me about training and nutrition. I just wanted to rant a little bit. And I guess I went into pretty good detail on this particular video about my diet. So I think I might actually save this one for a Friday video. And probably the next Friday, after this Friday coming up, the following Friday, I'll release the first video where I actually talk about training, and I will go into detail and hopefully keep it kind of short. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/willdevelopment. Follow me on Instagram. Will Development is my name. And thanks for watching.